All right, maybe let's get started, shall we, Alex?
Yeah, ready whenever you are.
Great. Okay, let's get started officially. First of all, thank you, Alex, for joining us today as a guest speaker at PermaDAO. PermaDAO is the biggest Arweave community in Asia, and this is the first episode of the English podcast series at PermaDAO. So today, Alex and I will be talking about everything related to Arweave, AO, and BazAR, obviously. We'll first, discuss some of the questions we have prepared, and then at the end, we will do some Q&A sessions with the audience. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Great. So, Alex, could you first, introduce yourself to our audience, like your current role at BazAR or any other projects you are involved with?
Yeah, so I am the head of communications for BazAR and for the Alex Archive, and we are two projects incubated within Forward Research.
Great. So could you share us more like details about your experience? Like, we are glad to have you to build with us together in the ecosystem. And, some of the audience are new to Arweave and AO, and they are not, familiar with the ecosystem. So could you share more about your experience? Like, how did you learn about Arweave ecosystem, and why did you choose to join and become a long-term builder here?
Yeah, of course. So back in 2022, I was working at a research lab for my university, and a friend in the research lab actually was focused on archiving, and a friend of mine introduced me to the Alex Archive and said this is a really cool project that we're developing in Arweave. And so I joined this hackathon called a pool-a-thon for the Alex Archive to archive data on Arweave, and then I later on started working part-time for the Alex Archive, doing just small community management type of work. And then I found that Arweave in general was a really great ecosystem. I thought the Alex Archive was a perfect utility for permanent data storage. So I continued to work on the Alex Archive and started working full time, and we expanded on it and created BazAR in 2023. And then, I've been just doing, all the communication and marketing and, business development within Alex and for BazAR. So it's been a really cool experience, really organic kind of getting into the ecosystem.
Great. Yeah, that's great to hear. I think before I joined the ecosystem, I've also heard about the Alex Archive. Yeah, glad to see you also working on that project. And for most of us, I think we're more familiar with BazAR, especially, like a couple of months ago, we spent a lot of time, trying to mint the Dum's NFT. And, BazAR is one of the most prominent applications in the AO ecosystem, obviously. Could you introduce BazAR and highlight some of the key milestones in its development history?
Yeah, of course. So BazAR is an atomic asset marketplace, which for those that are new to Arweave, atomic assets are a NFT, but all of the NFT data is stored in one transaction, so it's atomic, so we call it atomic assets. Mm-hmm. So it's an atomic asset marketplace built on this open protocol called the Universal Content Marketplace Protocol, and this enables trustless exchange of digital content on the permaweb. So we've been building BazAR for a little over a year and a half, and we're excited to see how much it's grown this past 6 months since we migrated BazAR onto AO. So that was a significant milestone for us, was to migrate BazAR onto AO and to connect with the quickly growing AO ecosystem. There's some really cool projects in AO right now. These different experiences like Llama Land, like different reality protocol worlds and Permaverse. And BazAR is kind of starting to merge into this ecosystem of, fun fun consumer side application. So that was a really exciting thing. And yeah, we've been shipping some updates for BazAR to enhance the user experience and to make it a smoother onboarding process with a new vouch integration. And also yesterday we just announced that we have a new stamp protocol integration so people can like atomic assets, and the creators of the assets will gain stamp tokens. So this is, I think, a really nice incentive for creators to upload quality content that people like and they earn rewards for it.
Yeah, obviously. And also congratulations on the launch of STEM protocol. You said like BazAR tried to, integrate with different kinds of projects in the AO ecosystem. For example, Llamaland, LSA is also one of the members in the PermaDAO. I'm not sure if he joined today, but glad to see that. And, speaking of, you just talk about like UDL and UCM, right? But for a lot of newcomers in the ecosystem, they're not so familiar with these keywords. So, speaking of BazAR and Atomic Asset Marketplace, the UDL and the UCM, which UDL stands for Universal Data License, and UCM stands for Universal Content Marketplace. So for these two keywords, could you dive a little bit into that, explain what are they first, and then, a second question is considering the current market conditions, could you talk about the problems UDL and UCM aim to solve and their significance?
Yes, of course. So in Web 2, as we all know, users have limited control over the licensing of their content. So when they upload content to a Web 2 platform, you have to adhere to their terms and they pretty much own the content. And also Web 2 platforms are very siloed. So when you upload to Twitter, you're not going to see it on Instagram and other type of social platforms. And so for licensing, UDL is a universal data license is really a open framework that allows users to attach embed a contract into their data when they upload it to Arweave. And this contract that they would embed in their metadata for their content would maybe state users can use this content for non-commercial purposes, or they can use this content, but they must pay a royalty fee. And this metadata is immutable since it's part of an atomic asset on Arweave. So platforms need to adhere to these contracts. So UDL is a really important framework for the permaweb because as different platforms emerge, the data is all open to use on Arweave since it's an open data lake, but there needs to be some type of contract standard, and that's where UDL comes in. And so it's a programmable contract that developers can then create platforms that maybe only render certain types of content based on their UDL tags. So that's a really important framework that we've been working on. And then as for the universal content marketplace, that's another important component of the permaweb stack. So it gives content creators this open and trustless protocol to monetize their work, and they can monetize their work on this protocol, but it's not confined to a certain platform. So if someone uploads content to the UCM, there can be other UIs that render this data. Like BazAR is just a UI for the UCM, so developers can create other UIs, and our idea was that this would create a better ecosystem for content creators where they aren't siloed to one platform, where UCM can be this open protocol that developers can create UIs on top of, and content creators can trade their content on different UIs because it's all in the same protocol. So overall, we think that this lays the foundation for a more decentralized web economy. And yeah, we're looking forward to continue to expand on that and supporting other other developers on expanding on UCM as well.
Yeah, great to hear that. For I'm sorry. For the folks that are still not so sure about UDL and UCM, actually, the researcher Kyle from PermaDAO has written an article about UCM, and the UDL. So feel free to reach out to us for that article. That's a great explanation for UDL and the UCM. And for our next question is the atomic asset, because for people outside of Arweave and NAO, when we talk about atomic asset, like they're not so sure about what we are actually talking about, right? And they're constantly confused about the difference between NFT and atomic asset. So could you explain a little bit about the difference between them, and what is your view on the current state of atomic assets, and what do you think is the biggest challenge facing NFTs today? Because we all know that compared to the previous bull run, NFT obviously attracted a lot of attention in the previous bull run, but in this bull run, NFT kind of, not doing so great compared to the previous bull run. So for the challenge that facing NFTs today, could you talk about that a little bit as well? Yeah, thanks.
Yes, definitely. So, to give a quick overview of atomic assets, they are we would say just a different take on NFTs. It's a Arweave NFT in that the atomic asset integrates all of the content, metadata, and UDL tags into a single transaction that's permanently stored on Arweave. And with traditional NFTs, the metadata might be stored on a blockchain, but the content itself might be stored on a centralized server. And if someone that is paying for the centralized server stops paying, then that content disappears. So NFTs really aren't immutable, and that's where Arweave comes in as a really good solution for NFTs, and that's why we call them atomic assets, to show that it is to show that it's atomic and that it's immutable and it can't be changed. And so we think that this approach ensures that an asset is secure and immutable. And as for the state of NFTs in Arweave, I'd say that in general, the consumer side of Arweave applications have gained some recognition this past year. And I think that projects like DumDums and also user experiences like LlamaLand and Reality Protocol have definitely contributed to growing the NFT buzz in Arweave. But overall, NFTs are not a hot topic in crypto, as we know. And I think a big reason is that there needs to be more utility. And I think that when in 2021, when there was that big NFT craze, it was very speculative, kind of like how meme coins are today. People were doing it just to buy some fun project and then sell it and make some money, kind of like how meme coins are. And I think NFT, and it really did not show the real utility of NFTs and how they could really be used in different ways in a decentralized web economy. And so a big thing for us is that we want to show that atomic assets can have utility. They can be integrated into other applications. So in LlamaLand, for example, you can buy an atomic asset, which is a doc in the LlamaLand world that you can then show your own Reality Protocol in the doc. So you travel to that doc and you own it. So you can show different areas where you built your Reality Protocol. And then also in Permaverse, there's if anyone who uses the Permaverse, there's different in-game assets that you can buy, and one is the gun that the DumDums have, and you can own the gun in BazAR, and you own the atomic asset, and then your character in the Permaverse has this little handgun thing. So I think that there's some fun utility that hasn't really been tapped into yet with NFTs. And I think that that's something that we're really trying to show, and also show to developers and to game developers and any other developers in Arweave, that there's this open data lake of NFTs, like atomic assets on BazAR, that can be used in your games and used in your interfaces. And with Arweave, you can just create a interface and use these assets. So I think that there's a lot of untapped potential there that we are still working on. And overall, I think that the NFT craze wouldn't be the same in the future, but I think that there will be more utility. I hope that answered your questions there. Kind of rambled a little bit at the end there.
Yeah, I think that answers my question. So the keywords is utility, right?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I think utility is very important. Otherwise, it's just, some speculation, about the NFT or meme coins, things like that. Utility. And from my personal experience, a couple of months ago, I tried, to mint, dum-dums, and I've also, sign up to the Permaverse game, like every day, at least for a couple months ago, every day, to try to, accumulate the streak. So yeah, definitely more utilities, the better for the NFT or the atomic assets in the ecosystem. And that's a great answer. And, leading to our next question, for the previous question, we talked about the challenge that NFT facing today. And for our next question, it's a good question, obviously, but it's kind of like everybody's curious about this. So what do you see as the biggest challenge for Arweave or for Arweave or the AO ecosystem? That's a good question, right?
Yes, that is. Let me think about that for a second. So I'd say that for those of us that are in the Arweave ecosystem, we would all probably agree with this, is that the vision is really there, and that Arweave has these ideals that have been there in the Web3 and crypto space since the very beginning. And Arweave didn't really stray from those ideals and values of decentralization, of data ownership, and transparency there. And so the vision and the tech is there to build a better web, but I think it's now about growing the ecosystem and doing a better job of marketing and connecting outside of the Arweave ecosystem, because the technology, I really think is amazing. It's really great, and I think it is really thought out. And like I was just talking about atomic assets, like I do really think that it's a better concept for NFTs, but not many people outside of Arweave know about it. And also, in general with AO, it really is a different take on a compute, on a decentralized protocol. And instead of building all these layer 2s and still fighting over the single thread of execution, AO definitely has a different architecture with these message passing systems and this parallel processing that is really unbelievable. And I think our job now is to really show the world how this technology can be used and how we can really make a better Web3 experience.
Yeah, I totally agree with your answer here. Like for some of the members in PermaDAO, they are also very active in other ecosystem as well. So yeah, this is a common question for them. Like, what's the biggest challenge for Arweave and AO, and what's the difference between those tech stacks? Not just about the technical details, but also about the future of this ecosystem, because everyone wants to build in a promising ecosystem, right? And for, since the release of AO, everything changed fundamentally, at least from my perspective. In addition to Arweave, that's the permanent storage layer, and AO now it had a huge, capability to computation for our ecosystem. So now AO and Arweave, I think that's a very promising tech stack. And I also agree with you on the marketing side, because before there's only Arweave, that's permanent storage. So that's very like infrastructure type of thing. So, most of the people like don't, how should I put this? Like most of the people don't think that much about marketing, but now since we have AO, it's more like a public chain, right? Layer 1 blockchain. So for the builders, for the projects that wants to build on top of Arweave and AO, they care more about marketing because they want their projects to thrive. Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And that leads to our, next question. So yeah, recently a lot of people came to PermaDAO. Some of them are not just from other ecosystems. Some of them are from Web2 world, and they didn't have that much experience about Web3. And, the Web3 market has had its ups and downs. So as a Web3 professional, what advices would you give to those, looking to enter the Web3 space, especially for those who are looking to enter Arweave and AO?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think about this a lot because since I do a lot of the comms for BazAR and I'm spending a lot of time on social media, I think a big thing is you have to tune out the noise on social media sometimes, and you're going to hear lots of people really excited and talking up things, hyping things up, and then you're going to hear a lot of people really trashing projects, trashing ecosystems, and talking really negatively when the market is down. And I think it's important you got to kind of tune out all of that noise. And it's kind of cliche, but I really think it's important to just build, focus on what you're doing. And if you are in the Web3 ecosystem because you want to build a new project, and yeah, I think it's just important to focus on that, continue to produce, ship updates. And if you're not a developer, but you're working as as a community manager, just do what you can to connect with people, grow projects. And for people that are in the, just joining as users, I think also, just important to use the projects, use the platforms that you are genuinely interested in, tune out the noise. And if you're in there because you believe in decentralized technology, Arweave's a great place because it really stays true to that ethos. Everything is very, very focused on staying decentralized, even from the infrastructure. Every project is uploaded as a atomic asset itself, and the gateways on Aria are decentralized, so you can access these websites through all these different gateways. So there might be some challenges at times with some of these projects in AO and Arweave because AO is on testnet and we are working through different experimental features. So it is, it's challenging at times, but I think it's important to just remember why you're doing this, while you're in there. And if you're a builder, just keep building.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I think the takeaway for this answer is just 2 words, just build, right?
Exactly.
That's the spirit behind this ecosystem. So just build, build anything you are interested in, you are really passionate about, and don't, overthink about the result, just build. And I think the good thing will happen after all of that. Great. And for my last question I prepared, PermaDAO is the largest Arweave Chinese community, and Upchain is also one of the biggest developer-focused community in China. Have you heard of PermaDAO and Upchain before? And do you think there's a potential for future collaboration between all of us? If so, how should we collaborate?
Yeah, so I have, definitely have heard about PermaDAO. I've been speaking with some of the PermaDAO community for some time, and also Upchain I recently learned about, and it seems like a really interesting developer community. And I think it's really, I think it'll be really great to find ways to collaborate, whether it's doing like online events. I feel like there's a lot of great hackathons in the Arweave ecosystem, and if we can connect more with the PermaDAO and Upchain community to do either like hackathons or online type of demo days. And I think in general, like creating educational content and just sharing insights from what we're building is really important. And I think it's also really important to like help bridge the gap between the English speaking and Chinese speaking worlds as well with our content. And I think that there's like such a great community in China that we would love to connect with more. And I think it would be great to find ways to connect with online events and even someday like in-person events. Like I know Arweave is in Singapore for just this past September, and in the future we should continue to collaborate and do in-person events and online events.
Great. Yeah. Online events, in-person events, hackathons, things like that. Yeah, it's maybe next time, because for the last couple of months we've been quite busy, but maybe next time we'll, actively participated in the hackathon hosted by other entities in the ecosystem, like, the permahacks from, waivers, things like that. We will, definitely actively participating in that in the future. And speaking of collaboration, actually, in the previous 2 weeks, we've conducted 2 online knowledge sharing sessions regarding FusionFi protocol in PermaDAO. That's a protocol, invented by Outprog, the initiator of PermaDAO. So for FusionFi protocol, do you have any thoughts about that? Like, are you guys also interested in FusionFi protocol, or do you have any questions about it?
Yeah, we're very interested in it because I think that recently DeFi has kind of gotten more interest in the Arweave ecosystem, AO ecosystem, and FusionFi I think is really, really interesting because it brings on all of these different financial entities, like transactions within one protocol. And that's something that we were looking into, and we definitely would continue to explore how maybe UCM can connect with FusionFi, how different DeFi projects in the ecosystem could connect to that. It's something that we're going to closely follow, and definitely we'll talk offline about more how we can get connected with FusionFi.
Great. That's good. That's great to hear. And I'm sorry, my throat is a little sorry today.
No worries.
That's all the questions I have prepared for, and actually, not just the Twitter space here. We've also live streaming at the same time on Tencent Meeting, which is like the Chinese version of Zoom. Yeah, so a lot of DAO members are listening there. So I've collected some of the questions down in the comment section. I'll try to pick like 3 of them, and maybe we can do some Q&A session from here. So I think the first question, I'll first ask a question on behalf of a few projects in PermaDAO. Like these projects, especially the gaming projects in PermaDAO, wanted to collaborate with BazAR, but they didn't know how to get in touch with you guys. So in front of our audience and builders, like what is the best way to reach out to the BazAR team?
Yeah, so for us, we are very active in the Weavers Discord. We have a micro community there, so it'd be best to join the Weavers Discord, and you can talk to our whole team, our developers and myself, and the micro community. You would join Weavers and you would select BazAR, and then you can see all of our channels there. I can link the Weavers Discord in the bottom of the chat after the space here. If anyone would like to talk, because it'd definitely be great to talk with anyone building any games on AO.
Yeah, because a couple of them reached out to me before, like, do you know the guys from BazAR, things like that. So I think a lot, especially, I feel like the gaming sector in AO starts to get hot recently. So yeah, if they know how to reach out to you guys, that would be great. I think that will be a lot of potential, partnership opportunities out there.
Definitely.
Great.
That'd be great.
Definitely.
Thank you.
No problem. And second question is from a long-term builder in PermaDAO and as well as in the Arweave ecosystem overall. His name is Farmer. His question is RWA, a real-world asset. RWA has been a hot topic lately. What solutions currently exist in the Web3 space to support its reproduction process, i.e., full lifecycle support for building more complex asset structures with atomic assets?
Yes, that's a great question. And atomic assets on AO. So when we moved onto AO back in June, atomic assets were a standard, I guess. Yeah, a standard that we moved onto AO, and it's still, I'd say, experimental because AO is on testnet and there's going to be changes for AO mainnet. So therefore, atomic assets will change. And also, we are working closely within Forward Research with other projects that are creating different type of user experiences, and we're thinking about what are the best ways to expand on atomic assets to make it so, let's say, you can update your asset, you can upgrade it better, you can be able to integrate it easier into other platforms. So that is something that we are actively actively looking into about how we can expand atomic assets from this very basic form that we have right now. And like I said, it's very experimental right now, but for AO mainnet, we'll have a more standardized process. There'll be there'll be more full documentation that we will share as well that can help developers create with atomic assets.
Yeah. That's a great answer. I think Farmer should already hear that. Great. And for the next question, this is a question from a founder of a gaming project in PermaDAO. His name is LeDuckGo. So his question is very simple and straightforward. So what are BazAR's plans for future market operations? Like, is there any marketing strategies in the future?
Yeah, so BazAR, our idea for BazAR is that it would literally be a BazAR for the permaweb, and that this will be a platform that people can come and buy and sell and trade all kinds of different content. Like, we don't want to focus solely on one content type. We want it to be a very open type of platform, and this is kind of a proof of concept for the UCM, and we want this to be the best way to trade content on the UCM. And as the permaweb grows and the social media aspect of the permaweb grows, because everyone knows, Forward Research acquired Odyssey, and that's a huge video sharing platform, and they're moving all of their content onto Arweave and AO, and so that's going to bring in a whole new user base there, and so UCM will be a important part of that. And so BazAR, we plan to just continue to integrate with these social media ecosystem within the permaweb and provide this the financial rails for content creators to monetize their content. So I think social media is our focus, the social media ecosystem within the permaweb.
Okay, social media ecosystem. Great. Yeah, I think LeDuckGo should get should already hear the answer here. And I think I'll take one more question from the comment section. I think this one is a general question. So, what do you think about the AO mainnet launch next year, and what difference will it make for the ecosystem and for the Web3 space in general?
Yeah, so I'm very excited for AO mainnet, and I think it's been very, like a long time coming. Like everyone is very excited for that. I think there's some technical aspects that our developer team is working with the AO team to ensure that BazAR will be prepared for it, and we'll have BazAR functioning properly on mainnet, because there will, of course, be some technical changes there. And yeah, overall, I'm very excited because with testnet, there was, of course, certain like networking issues that users have had problems within BazAR and would open support tickets, and it's unfortunate, like sometimes we just couldn't get around some of the testnet issues that pop up, and like we're just very excited to have a smoother user interface, smoother user experience, and like mainnet is going to really solve a lot of the problems that we're facing right now. And so like we're very excited, and I just think that this is going to be a huge explosion of new apps, new projects, and people are going to be very excited about AO, and I think going to really understand the importance of it and how it really is a great solution for crypto.
Yeah, that's we're also looking forward to that. And since AO token will be transferable after 15% of the total supply have been minted, so it's around next February. It's just 3 months away. We're also looking forward to that. And for last question for BazAR, is there anything that our users can participate, or is there any maybe future plans you could share with us right now?
So right now we just got done our last Weavers hackathon, so we are preparing for another online event soon. I can't share too many details of that, but there will be another online event within the next few weeks, and also for users that are joining BazAR that are new to it, users can build a buying streak where you earn pixel tokens, and with our new update, we require users to have a vouch Arweave wallet to be able to earn these pixel tokens, and this was to help curb the kind of the bot issue of pixel farming. But now real users can earn a lot more pixel tokens, and now that in AO that there's different DeFi projects with PermaSwap and with autonomous finance, that there is ways to trade pixel, trade llama coin, all these different like meme coins in the ecosystem. So I think that there's a lot of fun things there. But as for big events that we're being a part of, I think we'll have more to share in the next few weeks. I can't really share now because we don't have the details set. And then also in the new year, we plan to be very involved with events in the Arweave ecosystem and forward research, and we'll be part of different initiatives with that and with the AO mainnet. So we're very excited for AO mainnet in general.
Yeah, excellent. Seems like there's a lot of good stuff in the next couple of months. And speaking of pixel token, PermaSwap just made an announcement, I think yesterday, about the PermaSwap just launched the trading pair of Pixel and Raptor AR. So feel free to check it out if you guys are interested. And that's all my questions, and I think we're running out of time here. And okay, thank you again for joining us today. And for our audience, feel free to subscribe to BazAR's X account, and feel free to subscribe to Alex Fisher's account, and obviously feel free to subscribe to PermaDAO. And I think it's a great start. It's the first episode of the English podcast series at PermaDAO, and thank you, Alex Fisher, for becoming our first guest speaker here.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Ethan, for having me on. It was really great to talk with everyone today, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I hope everyone enjoyed it as well. I'm kind of nervous today as well. Yeah, but again, thank you very much, and hopefully we can have you, over here to be a guest speaker again in the future.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, and looking forward to our future collaboration. Thank you, guys. All right. Bye.